Drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes. I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets.
There we go. I was wondering, you guys are probably wondering, where is he at? I can hear him. Good evening. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, the last Tuesday in January 2022. I am your host, Kendrick Henderson, and this is the TFG Sports Show, the best 30 minutes of sports talk on social media. The Real Estate Insider just jumped in. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate you for tuning in. We're going to give you 30 minutes of the best sports talk with no, we're going to give it to you real. We're going to give it to you straight with no chaser. But before we get started, if you could come in, hit that like button, hit that share button, and comment. Let me know you're watching. We're going to have a conversation, just you and I, like we in the barbershop, or if ladies, if you in here, like we in the beauty shop, but we ain't going to be gossiping. We're going to be talking about some sports. Well, there's some sports gossip too that's going on too. I have to tell you a little bit about that in just a second. Again, thanks for joining us. It's a Tuesday evening, our last Tuesday in January. We about to hit the month of February. 2022 is moving along. And just like 2022 in January, we're moving along. I'm going to move along, and we're going to jump right in this thing and get started. Again, make sure you come in and share this broadcast, like, subscribe, TFG Sports Media on YouTube, and on Facebook, follow us, TFG Sports Media. All right, let's jump into it. You know what we're talking about, the NFL playoffs and a recap of the divisional games this weekend. Let's just say that I know the NFL and the networks are happy because there were some great games. Every game this weekend were great. 3 of the road teams won on the other team's field by a field goal, and the home team won in overtime by a touchdown. So the dramatics was there. The flair for the dramatics was in every game. So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to start off with the Cincinnati Bengals at the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee was the number 1 seed in the NFL, in the AFC, and they had a week layoff. They had a week to rest to get ready for the Cincinnati Bengals, and Cincinnati came in and shocked the world. Cincinnati defeated the Tennessee Titans 19-16. This will be their first time to the AFC Championship game in 33 years. I believe Boomer Esiason was the quarterback of the Bengals the last time they went to the AFC Championship game. Rookie kicker for the Bengals, Evan McPherson, kicked the 52-yard winning field goal as time expired for the Bengals to win. And this was the Bengals' first road win in the postseason after losing their previous 7. Now, the Titans sacked quarterback Joe Burrow 9 times, and that was tied a playoff record for sacks in a game. And despite that, the Cincinnati Bengals kept their composure. As a matter of fact, Joe Burrow kept his composure. Second-year quarterback out of LSU, going to his AFC championship. Also, Joe Burrow also won a national championship at LSU. So he's used to being on this big stage. He was 28 for 37, 348 yards, 1 interception and no touchdowns. World everything. His former teammate at LSU, now his teammate in Cincinnati, Jamar Chase, had 5 receptions for 109 yards, no touchdowns. And the Cincinnati Bengals defense did what they had to do. They kept Tennessee Titans offense in check. Again, I was shocked. I didn't give the Bengals a chance. I know Shantae Gibson, one of our colleagues here at TFG, was going for the Bengals. She's a Cincinnati fan, and she called it. She said Cincinnati was going to pull it out, and they did. Now, Ryan Tannehill was the weak link for the Titans. He was 15 of 24 for 220 yards. He threw for 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions, and all those interceptions were costly. And as a matter of fact, one of them in the red zone pretty much cost the Titans the game. Wide receiver A.J. Brown was caught 5 balls for 142 yards and a touchdown. And turnovers again, the Bengals only had 1 turnover. The Titans had 3. Now, running back Derrick Henry, who had been out since week 8 because of a foot injury, returned. But he was held in check. He was 20 carries, 62 yards. Really wasn't a factor. The Bengals was prepared. They came in this game with a lot of confidence, and defensively it showed. What can you say about Joe Burrow? I mean, he was cool under pressure. Like again, he was harassed, 9 sacks, but he was able to not make the big mistakes. Unlike Ryan Tannehill. Second son, my brother, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in, brother. Appreciate you joining me. We're talking about these Cincinnati Bengals shocking the world. Again, they upset the number 1 seed, Tennessee Titans, 19-16. Tennessee, again, they just can't get over that hump. A couple of years in a row that they've lost a home game, a home playoff game. Mike Vrabel, head coach, you could see it on his face when the clock hit 0. He just couldn't do nothing but shake his head. I was surprised that I thought offensively Tennessee would have played a little better. But Ryan Tannehill, I don't know if he's the guy. He does enough to get you there, but he doesn't do enough to put your team over the hump. So Tennessee, the number 1 seed, goes down to the Cincinnati Bengals, 19-16 again. The AFC is going to be interesting. We got a matchup coming with the Kansas City Chiefs, and we'll talk about the Chiefs and that crazy game and the Bills in just a second. So the AFC Championship game is set up. Cincinnati will go to Kansas City in the AFC Championship game next Sunday at 2 p.m. on CBS. Now, let's jump to our next game. The LA Rams was visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Tom, as Skip Bayless call him, Tampa Bay, as Skip Bayless call him. And then the Buccaneers was looking to repeat as Super Bowl champions. The last team to do that was, again, a Tom Brady-led New England Patriots team was the last team to repeat to win Super Bowls back-to-back in the early 2000s. Rams went in. I was torn. I really didn't. I thought Tampa Bay would win this, but the Rams had defeated them earlier in the season, week 3, at SoFi Stadium. So I thought maybe the Rams had a one-up, and they also had Odell Beckham Jr. They had a weapon that they didn't have in week 3. So the Rams came in and they made this game. It was looking like it was going to be a blowout. The Rams were up 27-3 at halftime, but a Tom Brady-led team. You remember that Super Bowl against the Falcons? I'm sorry, they were down, I believe, 25-3 or something like that at half, and he led them back and won that Super Bowl. So they weren't out, and they made this game interesting. The Rams won on a field goal. They won 30-27, which means the Rams advanced to the NFC Championship game next Sunday as well for the second time in 4 seasons. Now the Rams kicker, Matt Gay, hit a 30-yard field goal as time expired to give the Rams the upset win. Brady, again, as I said, Charles Moore being bang bang Niner gang. I know we get to that game. Charles Moore, thanks for joining me, brother. We get to that game, and you know how I'm gonna do. You know how I do. So we're gonna talk about that. I know you want to hear what I got to say. But again, Rams kicker Matt Gay hit a 30-yard field goal as time expired for the win. Brady rallied the Bucs from a 27-3 halftime deficit, tying the game on Fournette's 9-yard touchdown run on 4th and inches with 42 seconds. No, it's 27-3, Charles. 42 seconds left. Now, the Bucs lost to the Rams for the 3rd time in 2 seasons. Quarterback Matthew Stafford was 28 for 38 for 366 yards, 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. And the Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp had 9 receptions, 183 yards, and 1 touchdown. Now let's talk about Odell Beckham Jr., the new addition to the Rams receiving corps. They lost Robert Woods earlier in the season. They signed Odell Beckham Jr. He was released by the Browns. He only had 6 receptions for 69 yards. And the Rams kept the foot on the pedal. Now, here's the thing. Matthew Stafford, everybody was talking about, was that a good trade, him and Jared Goff? Matthew Stafford, we know what his resume looked like in Detroit. He could never win a big game. He threw costly interceptions. at the wrong time. And he was still throwing the last couple of weeks. He wasn't on his A game. He was throwing costly turnovers, costly interceptions at the wrong time. But he had a pretty good game. No turnovers at all. He made big key throws down the stretch. Even when the Buccaneers were on their comeback, he was doing his thing. Stafford was getting it done. So you can get hats off to the Rams by not allowing Tampa Bay to get back in the game and to not lose their composure, because that Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan crowds, those fans was rocking. And now joining me now is my man, my fam, Kennard Stewart with Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. How you doing, brother? Good evening to you. What's going on?
Man, I'm doing great. Sorry I'm a little bit late, but I'm glad that I'm on the show. A lot of nice action with the NFL this past weekend, so ready to get into it. And let's get it.
Yeah, we talking Tampa Bay. The Rams at Tampa Bay. The Rams went in and they shocked the world. I don't know if they shocked the world, but I didn't think they were gonna. I thought it'd be close, but I thought Tampa Bay, just because of who they have at quarterback, Tom Brady. He know how to bring a team back. So we're talking about that. The Rams had them down 27-3 at halftime, and I pretty much thought this game was over. And boy, that second half, the Buccaneers did some things, but the Rams shot themselves in the foot too with some costly turnovers.
Yeah, and then I think about, I didn't, because me, I'm not an NFL guy. But, when you talk about all the things that you said, down 27-3, it looked like they were about to Atlanta Falcon this thing.
Right. Yes.
So it turns out that the Rams held on. I think Tom Brady is a Hall of Fame quarterback I'm not a big fan. I'm not going to talk shit about him tonight.
You got to, brother.
If you bring up LeBron James, I'm going to take this guy's coat off.
Okay, I know. We talked about that. We ain't talking about LeBron tonight, though.
But either way, I think this is a huge testament to the LA Rams and where the league is going. And I think we're going to get to a point where the Tom Brady-ish quarterbacks and all of these other types of quarterbacks is going to segue into a different genre of quarterbacks once they leave. But if the show leads to that, then we'll talk about that.
Right. So, but again, Tampa Bay, number 2 seed in the NFC, they took that L at home. The Rams are moving on, and still possibly this could be the second year we have a home team playing the Super Bowl in their home arena. It's a possibility.
Now let me ask you this, because I have no dog in the NFL fight. Where is the Super Bowl going to take place?
Super Bowl is taking place at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California. And guess who the Super Bowl halftime performers are? Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige, Eminem, and Kendrick Lamar.
Woo!
That's the Super Bowl halftime. So we going back to Cali. Cali getting some love. California love.
That is all right.
All right. So that's where it is. So the Rams
will be. Tupac Shakur would have been alive.
I know. Wouldn't that have been dope? It would be kind of cool if they could have did a little hologram or something. Yeah, that would have been dope too. So we'll see.
And performance of California Love, I think that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, exactly. And memory of Roger Troutman too. Roger Troutman was on the California Love thing too. So again, that's our NFC Championship matchup. Rams hosting those San Francisco 49ers. Charles Moore, I know you waiting. I know you came on to talk because I got to talk about your 49ers, and you're going to click off after I'm done, but I got you coming. Now, let's talk about this Buffalo, Kansas City, which is probably one of the greatest top 5 playoff games in the NFL history. Kansas City messed around, and they got this game into overtime with 13 seconds left with Mr. Mahomes doing his thing. Kansas City defeated Buffalo 42-36. Mahomes to Kelsey in overtime for the 8-yard touchdown pass, called it 42-36. Chiefs are playing in a 4th consecutive AFC title game. The leads changed hands 3 times in the final 2 minutes. Both teams scored a combined 25 points over that stretch. Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker hit a 49-yard field goal as time expired.
Clutch. That's clutch.
That clutch to send the game to overtime. The Bills lost their 9th straight road playoff game. Kennard, man, did you get to see any of this game?
I didn't get to see it, but I saw all the back and forth dialogue on YouTube and Facebook, and man, from what I gathered, especially looking at the last part of the football game, best game in recent NFL history.
Yeah.
And
right.
And the thing about it is, a lot of folks don't know, man, when you can kick a 49-yard field goal in a clutch situation, that's huge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's really huge to drive that thing into overtime and to drive this thing to what we have now. And I just think maybe this is the game that revived the excitement of football.
Yeah, right. I agree, Kennard.
People kept texting me, man, did you see this? Did you see that? Because, I'm a college football, college basketball guy.
Right.
But I was like, man, let me check this out. And I'm like, man.
Right. Yeah.
For me to get excited about NFL football, that was a real ignition for even my content, because I'm like, man, I like talking about football. I like talking about basketball. NFL is a little more difficult because the players move around so much.
Mm-hmm.
But to see the fan bases of these teams be excited and to be enthused about a game that wasn't just a crystal clear, just a cookie cutter type ball game, I think that's a big testament to NFL football. Big shout out to the Buffalo Bills,
right,
and
yeah,
those teams to do what they were able to do to NFL football.
Yeah, heartbreaking loss for Bills. You hated that one, right?
2022, that there is a game that can be, publicized as one of the best NFL playoff games in history at this point in the game.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and Charles also says got to change the OT rules. Both should get a chance. I agree with that, Charles. I like the college football OT. At least give both offenses a chance, a possession. Yeah. I agree with that, Charles. And Charles also says the only mistake Josh Allen made was calling heads for the coin toss. Yeah, that's luck. That's 50-50. So
now to piggyback on what Charles is saying, and I'm just an antagonist for sure. My thing is this. Let it play out all the way through. Don't do what I think the Auburn versus Alabama game showed, that even the college football the college football overtime situation is a little flawed, because, you get to a point where you score points, you hit the, field goal, whatever. And then at a certain point, now teams are able to go for two. It's like, I think you got to play this thing on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Because at a certain point, if you go back and look at the Auburn-Alabama game, it showed why the college football overtime rule is, it's a mitigation to what we had before.
Yeah.
But in certain situations, it's going to be like.
Right. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I agree. I think I would like for the NFL to adapt, at least giving both offensive possession, but then you have to tweak the other stuff, like you said, because it could go on and on forever.
And just like all these other things, you're never going to be all the way fair, but start to have evidence of what's on the field, like say even the targeting penalty and all these other things.
Yeah.
Start to see how these things change the trajectory of the game. You start to kind of draw the line of fairness. Never going to be fair, but you can at least kind of compartmentalize the line.
Yeah,
people going out of the situation. It was.
Yeah. Because the thing is, a coin toss, it is what it is. You toss the coin before the game, so I don't really, that's just part of it. So anyway,
I was even telling some of my, the managers that report to me to talk about, like how they schedule and all. I was like, look, fairness is a very vague term. You know what I'm saying? About getting the best result.
Right.
So that's where we are with that. Man, I'm glad to be on the show. What's going on, Kenny? Let's get it.
Let's get it. All right, we're going to wrap this up. I got to tell this, though. Both Mahomes and Allen completed at least 70% of their passes. They both threw for 3 touchdowns without an interception, and they both led their teams with at least 65 yards rushing. Bills wide receiver Gabriel Davis caught 8 balls for 201 yards and 4 touchdowns, which is a playoff record. Again, the Chiefs now will host the Bengals next Sunday in the AFC Championship game. In the NFC, you got the Rams hosting San Francisco. Let's talk about this last game, Charles. I'm getting to it. 49ers went in the Lambeau Field and shocked the world 13-10. 49ers kicker Robbie Gould made a 45-yard field goal as time expired and knocked off the top-seeded Packers at home. And the Packers disappointed in divisional round playoffs as far as Aaron Rodgers' record is concerned. It continues. The 49ers scored 10 unanswered points in the last 5 minutes, and the key, a block punt by the 49ers, and they turned that into a touchdown. Green Bay Packers special teams was atrocious. They had a field goal block right before the half. Again, hats off to the 49ers. I can't take nothing away from them. Even though Jimmy Garoppolo is average at best, he didn't have to do much. The Packers basically offensively couldn't do anything after they went on that opening drive for 7 points. Again, 49ers win 13-10. Rodgers is 0-4 in career playoff starts against the 49ers. Fam, did you get to see any of this game?
No, I didn't. But what I want to ask is why I understand traditionalism and these things. Why doesn't Green Bay have a dome stadium? It's cold down there.
It ain't happening. It ain't happening, bro. It ain't happening.
No. Kids want to be in the cold. I'm talking about now, Georgia, they start to panic when it's like 40 degrees here.
Yeah.
But, man, I'm talking about 10, 15 below. You talk about the Great Lakes. They bring that wind down.
Yes.
To Milwaukee. And,
yeah.
Like, man, but as I see it, it ain't that they ain't got the money.
Right.
They just
Yeah, I mean, I think they don't want to lose the nostalgia. You got to remember Green Bay and Chicago are one of the charter members of the NFL. So Lambeau Field isn't going anywhere. It won't be a dome. They're not owned by a person. They're owned by the fans. Technically, the fans own the Green Bay Packers. So that it's not gonna happen. Lamar says they don't have Dallas money. Stop it, Lamar. They broke. Lamar, there you go. So that's the deal. And it was 14 degrees at kickoff with a wind chill of 0. And the flurry started in the second half. Second Son says, "Go Pack, go." That's right, bro. Go Pack, go. But we at home this season, but that's all right. Charles says 7-9 since Aaron playoffs record since he won the Super Bowl. That's He has a horrible playoff record. Especially against the 49ers, they have his numbers. So again, 49ers, hats off to you. Y'all get to move on to the NFC Championship game. Matter of fact, the 49ers and Bengals win marked the first time 2 number 1 seeds lost in the division round in the same season since 2010. And this is San Francisco's 17th conference championship appearance, the most in NFL history. So again, 49ers defeat the Packers 13-10. They move on to play their division rival, the LA Rams, next Sunday on Fox Fox Network. All right, so we got to transition to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, should he retire? Will he come back? There's a host of things, but he did say today that he will not make it a drawn-out announcement, whatever he decides to do, because players have to be franchised by February the 22nd, between February the 22nd and March the 16th. Well, Devontae Adams, his all-world wide receiver, is an unrestricted free agent. The Packers are like $44.8 million over the salary cap right now. Devontae Adams ain't gonna want that franchise tag. He was gonna want money. And I think Aaron Rodgers' decision, from what he said today, is going to hinge on if they can re-sign Devontae Adams. Rodgers said he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. Packers management said that they want him back. But he said he's going to make this decision pretty quickly. Your opinion, Kennard, do you think he should retire, or will he be with the Packers, or will they trade him? Because he's still under contract for 1 year. So he has to he can't be a free agent. He either has to be traded or he has to retire. What do you think?
On where he decides to go, for one thing. It also depends on, obviously I don't think Aaron Rodgers has a financial situation. I think this decision will be pending on what his personal situation is and what he wants to do. And to be honest, the only clause of this that sucks is that he has one more year that he's bound to with the Green Bay Packers. That he's going to lose if he decides to, because I don't think he wants to play anymore, to be honest. He wants to play anymore, but I feel like he's bound by the clause of the legalities that he has with the Green Bay Packers. Does he want to play with anyone else? Where would he go? I mean, who, I think he could go somewhere and be moderately successful, but this man is at the twilight of his career, has nothing else to prove. The only thing that sucks is that he's bound by contract to the Green Bay Packers for one more year.
Right. And he would have to retire. He said he wouldn't retire and sit out a season just to come back. He said he wouldn't do that. I think at this point, either he's going to be with Green Bay or he's probably going to retire. I think it's going to be either or. Far as fits for him, I think Denver would be a good fit. They still trying to look to sell the team, but they also looking for a head coach now too. So that would don't know what about that. Other people has been kind of linking them to Pittsburgh too, but I don't see Pittsburgh happening either.
No.
Yeah. No. So I don't know.
See, here's the thing: Pittsburgh would fit if it was just Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback and the person. But it's like you're going to a whole nother genre of football to where that fan base is tough. So why would you, in the twilight of your career, put yourself in a situation where you want to deal with all that?
Right.
You're tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you want to deal with that?
Right.
I just think that he's in a tough situation, but going to a deal like the Pittsburgh Steelers I just think would put him in a bad place and will probably ruin his legacy on the low.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, we're gonna see. He said he's gonna make it quick, so he said he's gonna make it a decision before March the 16th. So we'll know what Aaron decides to do here in the near future.
Yes.
All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about NFL fines. Old Tampa Bay Buccaneer coach Bruce Arians and Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott both got hit in the back pocket this past week by the NFL. Bruce Arians was fined $50,000 for slapping the helmet and putting a forearm to his own player's neck, saying he was trying to get him away from pulling off a guy off a pile. And Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott was fined $25,000 for a comment he made disparaging officials when Cowboy fans was throwing stuff on the field, and he was said credit to them. He ended up walking back those comments a day and a half later on his Twitter. So both those guys got hit in the back pocket. Kennard, what you think about these fines the NFL levied out?
Well, the fact that you can be fined $25,000, $50,000, whatever $1,000, that says, man, you making a lot of bread, man.
Right.
I mean, that's just like me losing $1,000 for not taking the trash out at work.
Right.
So I think it's a situation to where, it's a tough loss to take, but I think, you just have, it just causes a more awareness to where you just have to be more aware of your behavior, space. And even though it sucks, but no empathy coming from my part, because you probably $2,000 bonus just for making the playoffs. So no love or no sympathy here. And I think the fines are absolutely disgusting because you're putting money back into the pool and you're gonna give the money back to them. I think it just seems like bullshit to me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you can't. There's certain things you can't do. I knew when Dak said that. I said, they're gonna fine him. I said, you can't say that. Regardless of your emotions. And Bruce Arians, he was arrogant. He kind of said he didn't regret it. He said, no, he said he don't regret doing what he did, and he said he's gonna appeal the fine. So anyway, I just had to throw that in there. Old Bruce Arians, and they sitting at home now. I'm sure he's really pissed. He got fined $50,000, and you got beat at home. So I know he feeling a little ticked off about losing $50,000 in a game in the same week.
And then You know what I'm saying? You got took for 50,000. So
right.
you know, hot
Yeah.
hot tub may be hot and cozy, but so
Right.
cozy knowing you got $50,000 thrown out of the table.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, so that's our NFL notes wrap up. Real quick, we're gonna talk about a trailblazer. We're gonna talk about a trailblazer in women's basketball that a lot of people may not know this name. Luscia Harris. Kennard, had you ever heard of this women's basketball player?
Yeah,
Luscia Harris.
I didn't hear your question.
Well, we're gonna talk about. I have to mention this trailblazer basketball woman who passed away this week by the name of Luscia Harris. I had never heard of her. Wasn't aware of her. Well, she was the first one, the only woman drafted officially by NBA team back in the 70s. She died at the age of 66. She was also the first the woman in Olympics to hit a basket, the first woman to score a basket in the Olympics. She played for Delta State, and she was the first Black woman inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in 1992. She played at Delta State. She was drafted in the NBA's by the New Orleans Jazz in 1977, making her the first and only woman to be officially drafted by an NBA team. And the reason she didn't go, she was pregnant at the time, so she had to hang it up. She's a native of Mentor City, Mississippi, and she was one of the star women basketball players in the 70s. And she won college titles in the 75, 77. And again, she won Olympic gold in the Olympics in Montreal. I learned something new. I had never heard of her. I knew of, obviously, we know who Cheryl Miller is. We know who Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie. The list can go on and on, but I had never heard of Luscia Harris. What an awesome woman. What a trailblazer. You know what I mean? And she was a beast. She was a 6'3" post, averaged double-doubles at Delta State. Before the NCAA women's became NCAA women, it was an AIWA. So I just wanted to salute this pioneer, this beautiful woman who died at such a young age at 66. Don't know what her sickness was, but she left some history for us. And there's a movie being made about her, about a basketball documentary. I believe Shaquille O'Neal is behind it. So there's a documentary about the history of Luscia Harris. So I just wanted to say salute, peace be upon this queen, and your name will live on in the history books. Luscia Harris died at the age of 66. So that's our show. We're going down to our final thoughts. Brother Kennard, what you got? Talk to me.
I'm definitely appreciative of being able to talk about NFL football, something that I'm not, necessarily comfortable talking about, but it's really entertaining. But with the last, the last young lady who has transitioned, it brings me back to the fact that, desegregation was a great thing to a certain degree, but it did deplete the HBCU concept. And I think players like her and players like Gail Sanders, players like, Walter Payton and Jerry Rice, those players are going to face a little bit more difficulty, but it's starting to change though. I like it because you have Jerry Rice that wants to coach again. You have Deion Sanders that has changed the total trajectory of historically black college football, and that's an excellent segue into Black History Month that's coming up next month.
Right.
So I'm thankful to be on the show. I'm thankful to be a part of this movement that Kenneth has going on. He definitely has some good output, and he adds a real conscious spin to what we're doing. So for me to be a part of this is very honorable, and I appreciate it, cuz.
Oh, Kennard, you got just a seat for you. Your seat is always open. Anytime I need you, anytime you want to come on, I got you, bro. So I appreciate you joining me. My final thoughts is NFL playoffs, man, is fantastic. I'm still in a line from the NBA back in the 80s. So the NFL, we're gonna have some good matchups this coming Sunday. Again, you got Kansas City hosting Cincinnati, San Francisco at the Rams. The winner of those games will play in the Super Bowl on February 13th. And hopefully I'll be able to do a pregame Super Bowl show. If you're available, I would like us to do a Super Bowl pregame show that Sunday. I'm gonna talk to the producers and the executives and see if we can make that happen. I want to at least do a 30-minute, Super Bowl pregame show. And also my last thought real quick. I'm not a big baseball guy, but I had to mention this. David Ortiz was the lone inductee into the Baseball Hall of Fame. That just happened today. And guess what? Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens are still shut out again. So I don't see Barry Bonds or Roger Clemens ever being voted in by them doggone baseball writers. Again, David Ortiz is the lone Baseball Hall of Fame inductee for this year. So this has been the show. This has been my final thoughts. My man, Kennard, tell them where they can find you at, Kennard.
All right, down in the Deep South, college football is king, and on the plains of Auburn, the battle cry is War Eagle. My YouTube channel is Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn, where we talk about Auburn football almost every single day, and SEC. And now Kendrick is trying to ease me into talking about NFL, but I don't know. I'm on the fence.
You got to say something about the Auburn basketball men's team real quick. I got to let you say that.
As always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger War Eagle. The Auburn men's basketball team is doing a phenomenal job. They are the legit #1 team in the country for several reasons that we don't have time to talk about tonight. But if Kendrick wants to talk about it later, I'm all ears.
All right. That's my fam, Vernon Speaks. I'm your host, Kendrick Henderson. You have been watching TFG Sports Show with your boy, Kendrick. We'll see you here next Tuesday at 6:30. Don't forget to subscribe to TFG Sports Media and TFG TV.
Yes, sir.
Until next Tuesday, we out. Peace.
Doing it. Y'all take care.
That money clip us now, the new now looks like, whoa, upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like, whoa, I hit record a drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes.